People on LinkedIn can be broken down into two groups, basically. You got people who are selling something and people who are not. And regardless of which of those two groups you fall into, there's a good chance you learn LinkedIn the wrong way. I describe it as we learn to think of LinkedIn in terms of bulletin boards and funnels. If that's how you're approaching the platform, there's a good chance you are leaving a ton of potential on the table in terms of your ability to attract opportunities on the platform. That's why I like to think more in terms of magnets these days. What do I mean by that? That's what this video is about. Before I get into it, a little bit about me. My name's Tony Albrecht. For the last 3.5 years, I've been building Contender Creative. We are a LinkedIn ghostwriting agency that primarily serves lawyers in the US. We've helped magnetize LinkedIn presences for more than 100 leaders at this point in a way that helps them attract more connections, conversations, clients, and opportunities above all else. So with that being said, let's dive into it. I mentioned sellers and not sellers. I think just about all of us start from a place of viewing LinkedIn as a bulletin board, a place where we basically announce when we get a new job, announce accomplishments or accolades, or go when we need a new job. Right? So we think about it as kind of this static thing that is a place where you just put your little note, which is to say, hey, I need a job, or, ooh, I got a job, or I just got this accreditation, right? So we think of it as like a static thing. Now, some of us do end up getting to a place where we want to sell something, right? That either, through our job, we're a seller for a living, or maybe we started a side hustle. And folks in that position tend to think of LinkedIn as a funnel where, oh my gosh, that doesn't make any sense. That person had two heads. Where you're trying to dump folks. Dump might be an ungenerous word, but you're trying to get people into the top of your funnel in the hope that you get some number of them who come out the bottom end, a client or a customer, right? The problem with both of these approaches is ultimately they're boring and they're transactional. If you're viewing LinkedIn as a bulletin board or a funnel primarily, your mindset about what you do on LinkedIn and what it's for, I don't think it's going to serve you as well as it could, because you're failing to tap into the fundamental nature of LinkedIn, which is that LinkedIn is a network. It really is. And so if we're thinking in terms of networks, we got you and you're there. You are a node in the network. And you got everybody else out here. We are all nodes in the network as well. And so we got, you're a node, I'm a node, everyone's a node. And if you think about it in terms of a network, then your goal is to strengthen your connections with other nodes in the network. And I do think about this rather visually, that we have connections. We want to have connections with those people, and then we want people in our network to have connections with one another. And our ultimate goal is that the more you can strengthen bonds between and among different nodes in your network, the better off you're going to be. That you're building up your capital in the network. And then as you build that capital, you're able to spend that capital. Like when you ask for something, like let's say a job, people in your network are more likely to show up and do what you ask them to do if you're asking for some sort of help. If you have something to sell, then when you ask, hey, you want to buy my thing, you're increasing your chances that there will be people who respond positively and directly to you. Whereas if you're just thinking of it as a funnel, then you're not building up your capital in the network, typically. You're just looking to make withdrawals. And if you're just looking to make withdrawals, you're going to run out of capital. Your balance is going to go to zero, right? And so you're just going to be going back and back saying, hey, can I have something? Can I have something? Can I have something? Guess what people are going to say? Probably not going to say yes, because That's annoying. We don't want to be annoying. Even if we are sellers, we don't want to be annoying, right? And I'm certainly somebody who is selling on LinkedIn, right? So I understand the challenge and the feelings that come with trying to do that. It's hard. It's hard to sell on LinkedIn. It's hard to do social selling. But this is why I've come to move away from thinking about LinkedIn as the bulletin board or the funnel. I think both those things are true, right? I have a funnel, right? I'm running an agency. I need leads. I generate leads, right? And LinkedIn does have characteristics of that bulletin board, right? We just hired another ghostwriter who came to us through a LinkedIn job posting, right? Those dynamics do exist. But in terms of trying to capitalize on strengthening your network, I like to think of LinkedIn as being, look at this. How's that for a magnet? I like to think of LinkedIn as a magnet, right? That you are able to attract folks to you. You're able to attract more connections, more attention, ultimately more clients, if that's what you're looking for, and really more opportunities, right? Which some of those opportunities involve money. Some of them don't necessarily. There's truly a lot of, let's say, social capital that you're able to attract on LinkedIn. Because again, we are all there. Everybody in your industry is there, right? And regardless of whether you're posting content, and still like 99% of people in your industry are not, right? So there's very little competition for attention in your industry. And I'm saying that without knowing what industry you're in, but it's true for just about every industry. So there's a ton of attention there that's collected. And there are very few people who are working on attracting that attention. Throughout my time as a lawyer, I did think of LinkedIn this way. Like it was just that job board. That's why I ignored it. For that year between when I was a practicing attorney and then started Contender, I was thinking of it more in that way, more as a funnel. But I was learning this. I was learning the magnet in 2022 once I started paying attention and posting daily and doing the whole rigmarole. And what I found was that once I started thinking about it more in terms of magnets, the game gets easier, it gets more fun, and frankly, I think it gets more effective. Now, if you are trying to feed your family, you do need to be doing the proactive social selling motions, start conversations, start relationships, and warm those up over time. But here we're talking about that general approach. How do you think about LinkedIn? And we want to be thinking about it more in terms of how do I magnetize my presence, right? So that instead of needing to push people, I'm just kind of pulling. There's a pull that is bringing people to me. People who are interested, who are attracted to what I'm doing. Now, you need to be comfortable with the idea that you're also going to repel people, that there are going to be people that the more magnetic you get, the more some people are going to be turned off by you. But that comes with the territory, right? And it speaks to, let's say, the nature of magnetism, that what I stumbled on for myself and now what I help my clients do is learning to show up as yourself. This is where the personal brand piece of it comes into play, where the stronger a personal brand you can develop, the more you're able to communicate yourself clearly to a specific group of people in a way that they come to know, like, and trust you. Now, if you're on board with this idea and you're asking, how do I actually do it? How do I magnetize my LinkedIn presence? We've developed a tool we call the personal brand pyramid. And at this point, it's got 3 levels. We got your territory, your people, and your corner of the internet, Wakoti. Now, you want to get clear on these three things, where your territory is the ground you cover. I think of it as the combination of your content pillars, the topics you talk about, and your point of view, your perspective. In every post you do, you want to be including enough detail, whether it's in the writing, in the video, in the image you're using, to make it specific to you while you're talking about those topics you talk about. You want to get clear on your people. This is your target audience. Often this is going to be more than one group of people, right, that you may be talking to. If you're a seller and you have a specific ICP, there's your ICP in there, but maybe you're also having a group in there that's other colleagues in your profession, right? Or if you're a marketer, other marketers, right? That can be another bucket. Maybe like for a lot of my lawyers, they talk to other lawyers, they talk to legal professionals in general, and then they'll also talk to law students, right? Or maybe they talk to folks in the community, and there can be different buckets. No post is aimed at everyone, typically, but every post is aimed at somebody. You're aiming every post at one of those buckets there, right? And then Why-Coty, your corner of the internet, the piece of digital real estate you are out to claim and own. This is the most important one. It's about your mission. What's the impact you're out to have? We want to get clear on that. Ultimately, that's going to help clarify what you talk about and how you talk about it. All right? So if you can kind of do these things, get clear on what's the ground we cover out here, who am I talking to, and what's the impact I'm looking to have, what's the mission I'm on. The clearer you can get on those things, the clearer your message is going to get as you go. And it's that clarity of message that creates the opportunity for what you're putting out there to resonate with the people you're looking to connect with. That resonance is the trick. That's what makes you magnetic, right? Then you're also going to want to clean up your profile, make things clear on your profile in terms of, again, what's that mission and who are you talking to? You can do that in your banner, your headline, your about section. But it's this combination of these three elements that's going to put you in a position that you're going to be able to attract more of those people, more of those conversations, and ultimately more of those opportunities. And I think that's true whether you are a seller or you're, say, an early stage professional who's just trying to figure out how to make your way in your career. Becoming more magnetic is going to be valuable for you, regardless of your stage of the career, regardless of whether you're trying to generate income or revenue directly from the platform. The way I think about it is, would a better reputation in your industry be valuable to you? Right? Would it be more valuable if you've got more name ID, right? If you have more brand awareness of you as a person, would that be valuable? Would it be valuable to you to be contributing to conversations with other people in your profession or your industry in ways that you are learning and you are sharing what you've learned? Would that be valuable to you? And whether or not you're selling anything, I think the answer to all those questions is yes. And with those two groups, if we're not selling anything, we tend to just ignore the platform entirely, right? Because we got other things to do. And if we're just trying to sell, we also have other things to do. So we have a tendency to focus just on the kind of lead activities and less on the showing up in a way that we can become magnetic and attract those opportunities. So I think that's enough out of me here. This is why I'm into magnets over funnels. Send me a connection request on LinkedIn if you'd like. If you want to hear more about my story, I'll link to, say, the video on how LinkedIn changed my life. You could see what becoming magnetic in my case looked like. And I'll see you out there. Thanks for watching.